Hey, I'm Ray, and I play drums in Arc Iris, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my gear. So let's start with the drums themselves. This is a vintage Slingerland kit. I believe it's from 1970. I'm not sure exactly what the model is, but the sizes are a 20 by 16 kick drum, which I'm very much a huge fan of. 20-inch kick drums are my favorite, and this one sounds amazing. There's no front head on it, which is something that kind of developed over the years. It's very, very low. Not sure how well the sound translates, but it's got a Power Stroke 3 Remo head on it. Yeah, so it just has a really low pitch, but it simultaneously has a really nice tone, and I think that's because the shells are actually quite thin. I think they're like 3-ply shells, whereas nowadays most drums have like, I don't even know, upwards of 9, 10, 12. Anyway, these have 3. So there's the kick drum. This is a separate thing, so I'll talk about the orange drums first. This is a 13 by, not sure, 13 by something rack tom, and then 14 by 16 floor tom. So they're only 1 inch apart. A lot of times you'll see like a 12-inch rack tom, which is smaller than this, plus a 16-inch floor tom, which is bigger than this. So these kind of bring the tones closer together, which I like. And they both have Remo ebony emperors on them. They're somewhere, for me, they're somewhere in between clear and coated heads. So I'll just give them a whack. So they have like a really nice resonance, but they still have warmth and cutting power. And on this is a 1950s WFL snare drum. This is Ludwig before it became Ludwig, basically. And again, just has an emperor. It's pretty standard fare. But so one thing that I do quite often is I have my main snare sound. It's like a traditional kind of open sound. And then I actually use this quite a lot, which is just a cutout of an old drum head. And it completely changes the sound. So I get like a fat electronic kind of sounding thing. So just again to hear the difference. The snare is a 14-inch. 14 by 5, I think. I think it's a 14 by 5. And now let me go on to the cymbals. So this is a company that you might not know. They're called Amadia. It's based out of New Jersey. They're a smaller cymbal company. They've only been around for about 5 years, maybe 6 or 7, but not very long. And I got hooked up with them at the PASIC Drum Convention back in 2015, I think. I grew up in New Jersey, and their headquarters happens to be in New Jersey. The company is based in Turkey, but that's where their American headquarters is. And they're amazing cymbals. They have lots of kind of experimental models. So for instance, this ride cymbal, I don't know if you can see, it's actually quite wobbly and bendable. Yeah, it has like a floppy shape. And that gives it a really intense kind of wash, but it's just so brilliantly designed that it also has a lot of definition. So it's very crashable, but it also has a lot of stick clarity that you'd get from a drier cymbal. There's just so many tones in there, which I really like. This has been my primary ride cymbal for since I got it, 2015. This is pretty standard. Oh, by the way, this is 22 inches. 22 inches. This is just an ordinary 16-inch dark, thin crash cymbal. It's called the Old School series. I'll just give it a whack. So it's kind of in and out. You just hit it, there it is, and it kind of goes away. And I have these hi-hats. They're called the Dervish series. They're also on the drier, darker side. So yeah, overall I go for a darker kind of cymbal sound. All of the cymbals are fairly thin. Thin is in, as they say. And that's basically it. There's one more thing which I can't demonstrate in its entirety because it has some electronics going through our keyboardist's amp. This right here is a contact pickup, which I run through a DL4 pedal. Right around over here. So this, when it's all hooked up, it gives me amplification and delay on the hi-hat rod. It's just for one song that I play, where the beat is something like... So it's just a neat little tone that I get. You can use your imagination and just pretend that it's amplified and has some delay on it. And I think that's it. My pedals are both DWs. I got a 3,000 here. It's the best $120-something you can spend. And a 5,000 for the hi-hat. And that's basically it. Vader. I love Vader drumsticks. If I play to smaller rooms, I generally use 7As. Which have one here. They have a barrel tip as opposed to like the oval or teardrop shaped, which I really like. They're thin and they're long, and they have a flat butt, which I'm not sure how that actually affects the playing, but it just feels nice in my hand. I can't explain how this makes a difference. It might be totally placebo, but I like the flat butt. But for bigger rooms like this, I go up to the Fusion model. It's basically the same thing. It also has a barrel tip, but it's a little heavier. I think they're about the same length. Look at that. They're like identically long. So this one is just a little heavier. So for bigger rooms, louder amplification, I get more volume. Yeah, but it's very similar feeling stick all around. Again, I'm Ray from Arc Iris, and you can find our music in all of the places where one would find music: Spotify, Apple Music, and yeah, I got two upcoming records this year. One is Joni Mitchell's Blue. We did a reimagination, so we took those songs and just made them our own. And then we have a third record coming out, release date to be determined, but find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. It's all Arc Iris, and yeah, follow us there.